Well, everybody, welcome back. And it's that time again. It's time for the Sunday Night Sportsbook powered by betonline.ag. And here with us again, as every Sunday from dgensunited.com and the DGens United podcast. Welcome, Leo Koukakis. Leo, what's up, brother?
What's up, Capitano? How we feeling this week, buddy? You got to be feeling real good.
Oh, I'm feeling real good. I mean, real
Attaboy.
good. Like,
Full one.
I'm up here. Those of you watching on YouTube, I'm up here. Normally, I'm like here. This week, I am up here.
No problem, baby. No problem at all. I don't blame you at all. I feel the same way, man. Greece coming through with 4 points.
That's
Looking
right.
dominant today. Yeah, baby.
That's right. That's international football's back, Leo. It's back. It has been it's been like 10 months. I can't believe it's back. I've never been a big fan of international windows, but this one it came at a great time, and I enjoyed it immensely. We still got another round of matches to go in the next couple days, but man, I guess I did miss international football after all.
Yeah, man. Seriously, it feels so good. It looks just so nice. And by the way, your third uni's
Those are the
sexy.
backups. Those are the second.
Oh, those are second? Oh,
Those are
baby.
the alternates. Yeah, those are the new alternates.
I don't blame him for moving them on up, man. Those look real good.
There's only two kits now.
But yeah, man, it felt really good. And I especially love the UEFA Nations League because it gives those smaller teams a chance to continue to grow and get better.
Great
And
competition.
it really is compared to those stupid friendlies that we have to watch. And, you get Huey, Dewey, and Louie out there in the second half and they don't matter. Nah, man, these games matter, and especially to the lower teams where they can get up to this to the third division and, just continue to progress. I absolutely love this competition.
And, like with the Euro, there is World Cup qualifying on the line in this competition. Someone from that Group D and Group C is going to have a chance to go to the World Cup as a result of this competition.
That's right, baby. That's right. The Greeks, you damn right, baby.
Dude, how pumped are you if you're San Marino, Gibraltar, or Andorra right now?
Yeah, seriously. I mean, has there ever been a better chance? Dude,
Never.
was a favorite. Gibraltar was minus 350 the other day. I almost wet myself when I saw that number. I thought it was a typo. Then I look at San Marino. I'm like, oh my God, dude.
Dude, I think we can go. Listen, we can go down to Worcester, right? We can go to I don't know wherever people play these days. We can go down to Worcester State on a Sunday night when the lights are on. Probably assemble 11 guys and give San Marino a match.
It's really funny because for those of you watching on YouTube, you can kind of sort of see I'm a bit of a heavy-set individual. I'm a solid 270. But, there have been times when I just think to myself, man, I really just want to go get citizenship in San Marino and just go play. How freaking cool would that be, man? I could definitely make that team. Get me a little bit into shape and absolutely. I'll be
Makes
the
you wonder
number 9.
with those. But, hey, good for them. You know what? Good for those teams. They finally have something to play for. For 50 years, their ambition has been to try to lose by less than 7-8 goals when they play. Now they're paired with each other. They would never have a chance to play each other before. Now they're paired with each other, and you have a real competitive League D and League C.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that you see with no matter pretty much any team. I mean, even the top teams in Europe and even the lower teams now, you give them a reason to care, man.
Mm-hmm.
Give them a reason to care about those games. And it's just human nature. You have a reason to care. You have a reason to try. You get San Marino going against Germany. I mean, dude.
Right.
No matter how hard you try, that game is over within 10 minutes. It's 3-0. But, I mean, it's really good to see, and especially with these teams in the B division trying to move on up to the A division and try to become one of the elites. And then you see the guys in the C and then you have the teams now that got relegated from B to C trying to move back up, kind of insulted, kind of having that fire in their belly. It's such a good competition, man.
I think it was a great idea to come up with this competition. I said that when they unveiled it, and a lot of people were negative on it, saying it's just glorified friendlies. But you know what? We've seen much higher quality of play since we've gone to this competition. And to be honest, what we today call the Euro started off as a competition just like this. Started off with 16 teams playing each other. In the last 4 went to a final, just like we do with the Final Four of the Nations League. I think, in 20 years, we could look at this competition. It could be a very meaningful competition. Like we said, if they keep putting Euro and World Cup spots up for grabs in this competition, there'll be interest.
Well, I mean, yeah, unfortunately, Greece kind of learned the hard way with that.
And others. They're not the only ones.
Yeah, but it was a little bit more personal to me because
Yeah.
they that last draw, I believe it was Estonia. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
I
sure
think
it was Estonia.
that's what we said last week when we talked about it. I think it was
Yeah, I mean,
Estonia.
that draw against Estonia cost us a place in the Euros. Like, hey, guys, there's a reason to care now. And you know what? It's good to see these teams really caring because I watched a fair amount of these games. There were very few teams that didn't care. Everybody seems to be taking it seriously. And that is just, it's a good thing for everybody, man. It's a good thing for the younger teams that are trying to get better, trying to develop the lower division that are trying to move on up. It's good for even like the Group A guys, man. You get to
Oh yeah.
filter in a little bit of young kids. You get an actual trophy to play for. You have a reason to care. It's excellent. Great job, UEFA.
Yeah, let's start on Thursday, all right? Do you have the results up with you?
I do. I
All
am
right, let's
prepared
start
this
with
week.
Thursday. That was a big one. This one I got pretty angry about on a personal level. Uh
Tell
let's
us
go
why you
with
were so invested.
Yeah, well, I would watch this game anyway. I'm talking about Germany versus Spain. That's always going to attract me because those are two teams I love to watch play. But 1-1, all right. Spain equalizes at the very end, offside, no question about it. Okay, Germany's defender is off the pitch. He's off the field. He's over the line. Therefore, Spain's forward, I forget who scored it. I can pull it up right now, but he's offside. Okay,
Mhm.
the referee doesn't see it that way. The linesman misses it, and for whatever reason, no VAR in UEFA Nations League. We got VAR in club friendlies, but no VAR in
Ye-
UEFA Nations League.
Yeah, that was something that I texted you about too the other day, and I was like, "Wait a minute, is there no VAR in
It
this?
makes no sense to me why there's no VAR. I mean,
What?"
I
Also,
suppose are there countries in League D maybe that don't have the capability of
they
VAR?
don't
And
have cameras.
I have no idea. I'm trying to
What do
find
you mean?
a justification for having no VAR. Pretty soon you're going to see VAR in like the New England over 30 league. Like, I mean, it doesn't take much. You know, it may not be a high quality, but it doesn't take much technology to put some kind of VAR together.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, really, really interesting. Also, something else that I noticed, they're going back to 5 substitutions at the start of the year, correct?
You know what? We had a discussion about this on the show I was on last night, and it seems to be kind of foggy. The Premiership is going back to three. They've announced they're going back to three substitutions. I think UEFA has not said anything yet. Um, Nations League, did they go with five in this Nations League, or was it three?
No,
I didn't
3.
even. It was
There's
three.
only 3 because I was yelling yesterday.
Yeah,
I thought I read something that said it was going to be 5 throughout the course of this year to kind of make up for the tough schedule and stuff
right.
like
And you're
that.
gonna, mhm. and
And
you're
then
gonna
I was
play.
waiting for it.
Yeah, you're gonna play all these matches in a shorter space. They didn't reduce the fixture list at all. It's the same amount of matches, but in a much
Right.
shorter window of time. Plus, you got Euro 2021 in June, and I think no matter what the situation is, it has to go off.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
absolutely.
it has to. Whether there's people in the stands or not, it's a different story. But they have to play that tournament. So I was under the impression until this weekend that we were going to keep the five substitutions going, but I guess that's going to be a day to day or week to week news story.
I think that was my only main complaint about the UEFA Nations League was that a couple of the things were unclear. First of all, the VAR.
Hmm.
Second of all, the substitutions. Those both just kind of threw me off, and I was like, and just I think that we follow it pretty much more than most average humans.
Yeah.
So I mean, they really should have made that clear. Like, and even ESPN at the start of the broadcast, you guys think maybe you could mention it, so we had a clue. But
Yeah, so we had in this game, Timo Werner gets Germany on the board in the 51st. Jose Gaia, excuse me, gets the equalizer in the 90th plus 6. That's the one I'm saying he was offside. To my eye, it looked like Germany's defender is over the line completely. But either way, this one cost me about $50. I was playing with house money, but it's all good.
man.
What did you think of this one,
I thought it was really interesting. I mean, we were talking about it throughout the course of the match, and just Spain, they're still sticking with the tiki taka style, but
dude?
they're I don't understand it. Like we were saying, they're literally not shooting. They're trying to pass the ball into the
Did you
net,
see
and
the
it's
end of the
just
first half?
I did not. You went into very detail.
Literally, Rodrigo's in on a breakaway, and somehow Spain managed to not shoot. They managed to pass it through like 5 or 6 different players around inside the penalty area, and time expires before they get a shot off. I've never seen anything
Dude,
like that in my life. And
Yeah, that's definitely the tiki-taka
yeah, but
special.
hey, they won possession.
We all know how you feel about possession, Capitano. We've heard it
I
all.
I
Anybody
couldn't.
that has ever listened to any episode of
I
Parking
can't.
the
I can't.
Bus,
I cannot resist but to say, hey, they won possession. I don't even know if they did. Let's check that.
57%.
They won. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
man.
loss in their book.
Yeah, I mean, they might as well just give that point back. But a
Yeah.
lot of good. I'm really enjoying the like Group B stuff.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many good Group B matchups, like sneaky good matchups, like Wales,
Yeah.
Finland. I've
Hmm.
always been a huge fan of Finland, especially with Timo Pukki. Like, I love that dude. He's made me a lot of money. To be
Yeah.
fair, that could be
Let's
why.
let's look at League B. The other result in League A on Tuesday was Ukraine 2, Switzerland 1.
Okay,
You want to say something?
before we move on, since when did those two teams learn how to score? Since when?
Thursday at about 2:45 Eastern time here in the United
We were
States.
all over the under 2.5,
Yeah.
and oh, you know this very well. Haris Safarovic.
Dude, he's
Since
turned
when
in.
do?
Uh, I'm guessing it's the new coach at Benfica because he scored a screamer this weekend.
Yeah, since when, bro? I'm sitting on the under, and I got this tool shooting from 30 yards away and burying it. And by the way, Ukraine, I love the Ukrainian style. I love how they sit back.
Mhm.
I love how organized they are. I've always been a huge fan of that. But Payetov, bro, it's time to retire, man. Like, listen, dude, I watched you with Shakhtar. I
I,
watched you
I,
get
I would
dismantled
say I
with
was
Inter.
thinking that already in the Europa League.
Wow. Wow, dude. You look terrible, man. And I'm a guy that watched Nico Politi basically play till he was out there with his walker.
Yeah.
But bro, you need to go home. You need to stay home. I'm sure you have grandkids by now. Go home and play with them. All right, old man.
Let's go to League B. We're in Group 3 first. Russia 3, Serbia 1, and Turkey 0, Hungary 1 in Group 3 League B. What do you think there? Do you have
Very
anything going on that, or is that mostly
gambling
that?
wise, no. I didn't have a whole lot going that day. The only play that I had was actually the three plays that we had on Thursday were Germany to win outright. They end up losing.
Mm-hmm.
We had the under in the Ukraine-Switzerland game. I felt really good about that, but of course, ends up going over. And then I also had Greece on a pick, but I didn't have anything in League B. Very sad that the Turks lost, though. What a shame.
I'm sure you are. Let's go to League C then, and let's start with Greece. Greece, Slovenia. What's your thoughts on Greece in this match particularly?
So this match, I thought this was the best that we've played in a long, long time, and it gave me a lot of hope for the future because we're starting to bring in the youth players, we're starting to bring in the younger players like Pavlidis, Liminos, Mandalos. Not necessarily young, but he's a very, very good player. He has a lot of potential. Bekasetas, this kid he's a very, very talented young man. One of my favorite things though was seeing Zeka back on the field.
Yeah,
Absolutely
I was
love
going to ask
Zeka.
about Zeka when I realized what country he was born in. But
I
no, I
absolutely
noticed him.
love
I
him.
noticed him in the Europa League, and that's why I was going to bring him up, playing for Copenhagen.
Mhm.
And yeah, I didn't even know he was a Greek citizen, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And then I looked into his history, and I saw he's played there. But yeah, overall, I watched this game also. I had this game going side by side with Germany and Spain, and I was impressed with Greece also. I thought you guys were playing a nice tempo. You were playing high up the pitch. You were putting Slovenia under pressure a lot more than you were absorbing pressure yourself.
Yeah.
You guys were much more in control than they were. And
Fantastic performance. I don't think
yeah,
that Slovenia had one like clear-cut opportunity to
no,
score, which was promising.
and it looked like you guys were always more likely to be the one to steal a winner in this one.
14 shots, 6 on target. I mean,
Mhm.
I know you're not a huge fan of the 61%, but I feel like it was good
But
possession. It
I
was
like it was
attacking.
good possession. Exactly. I was gonna say that 61% possession is one thing, but it was uh, productive possession, what I call it,
We
because
had
you were going
66.
forward a lot with that ball.
Yeah, one of my favorite statistics that nobody really talks about is the dangerous attacks. So
Hmm.
essentially coming forward, having the ball, having multiple people forward.
Yeah.
In the final third, we had 66 times. We had plenty of opportunities. We had a 2-on-1, which only Greece can manage to turn a 2-on-1 breakaway into a 2-on-5 situation. Like, I know that you talked about it with Spain, but trust me, Greece, like, oh my God. It was so bad. We had a 2-on-1 up the center of the field, and I forgot who it was. I think it might have been Becaseta. He goes to put a ball toward Pavlidis, but instead of giving it to Pavlidis' feet, like kind of leading him in on goal, Malaka, he kicks it over to the corner flag. I literally threw everything up in the air. I go, you got to be kidding me right now, dude. You got to be joking me with that nonsense. Typical Greece, but overall, really promising performance. Um, the other game that I was really surprised by was how about Russia coming
Yeah,
through with a 3-1 win over Serbia, and it was a
Serbia. Yeah,
really good performance. I'm always high on the Serbian team. They're another team that I really look at, and I've always been a huge fan of, especially with guys like Milinkovic Savic and especially Mitrovic. I love
yeah,
Mitrovic. He's
yeah.
one of my favorites. They still have Tadic on there. They have plenty of talent off the bench as well. Really surprising loss to see them go down like that, 3-1 to Russia. They're currently in last in the group with just 1 point after they drew today, too. Really disappointing performance.
Yeah, and this is a generation, a lot of them that were in that U20 team that won the U20 World Cup. You know, names like Mitrovic and Tadic and all these guys. They came out of. There's some noticeable names missing from this team, but that's part of the Nations League too.
Right.
Is trying to find that next wave. You know, there's noticeably no Nemanja Matic, among others, but overall, yeah, I'm with you. I was surprised that this was the performance Serbia gave us, or at least the result. Russia, looking at their 11, as I have that here, you know, not an 11 that's going to blow you away. If you watch the Russian Premier League, you're probably going to know this team better than I do. But there's really nobody there that you're going to pull out of a hat and even name if you're going to name let's say a team of the week, right?
Hey, man,
But then you
the
got
Russian Premier League, that's a DGen special right there. The 9 and 11 a.m. starts on the East
that's right.
Coast. Yeah, baby.
You got Artem Zuba with 2 goals in this one. He was the man of the match. And yeah, Russia with a surprising result. They're going to go top of the table. In your group there, Greece, everybody after this first match day is level on 1 point. And then there's one more group in League C. It's Group 1, Latvia 0, Andorra 0. That surprises me a little bit. I expect a little more out of Latvia than that. And then how about this one? Faroe Islands 3, Malta 2.
I still cringe every time I hear the Faroe Islands. Like,
Well, think about it they could win this group and be in a playoff with 3 other teams for a chance to go to the World Cup.
I forget how many years it's been. It's been at least 5 years since Faroe Islands did a double over us. I forgot what it was. It was either the World Cup qualifying or the Euro qualifying.
Yeah,
for
I had
2016.
forgotten that one, and you and Claudio Ranieri, neither of you can forget.
Oh my God, that's right. We fire Claudio Ranieri, and then he goes and wins the league title with Leicester. I may have been the only person on the face of the earth that was rooting against Leicester at that time. Like, no, don't make this guy out to be a good manager. He sucks.
So Leicester City supporters, send your thank you cards to the Greek Federation, or even better, go to DGens United and listen to Leo's podcast as a thank you.
That's right. You guys owe us. All you Leicester City supporters, you owe me. Make sure you listen. Thank you.
Let's move on to Friday. All right, we're back in League A, and it's Group 1. Italy 1, Bosnia-Herzegovina 1, Netherlands 1, Poland 0. What do you think of those 2 matchups?
The Polish one doesn't really surprise me all that much just because no Lewandowski.
Right.
The Italian match, I know Italy was a huge favorite, but I'm just not a huge fan of either of these teams. I think both of these teams are fairly overrated. Bosnia, at this point, they're getting older. There was no Pjanic on the field. It was pretty much only Dzeko. He's the one that scores the goal. Then you have Italy. I mean, Italy is always going to be Italy.
They're in a transition period, but yeah, they have their mentality and their methodology, but they're still kind of in search of what their modern identity is. You know, they're playing on a style, or they're trying to get away from the stereotypical Italian style, and it's not obviously going well.
Yeah,
and I mean, there's talent there, maybe, and if I'm not mistaken, Mancini's still their manager, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, they managed to get back in, and they qualified for Euro 2020, which we're going to play next summer. But it'll be interesting to see how they do, because there's no easy games in the UEFA Nations League. That's another good thing about this competition. Everybody is slotted at a level where they belong, so there's no easy matches.
Right,
so
absolutely.
They're not going to be able to rack up points against lesser opposition because they're consistent, or because, you know, they're just more efficient. So they're gonna have to fight and scrap, and it's always harder to win that way when you don't have the superior technical ability. You have to find it elsewhere. And a team like Bosnia Herzegovina is probably built almost identically to Italy. and can play that style just as well as they can. I wouldn't be surprised if they're bigger and stronger physically than the Italians are.
Right. I'm not a huge fan. Netherlands, I'm a huge fan of Bergkamp, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge fan. I love that kid. Netherlands, yeah, I mean, they kind of look all right. I'm still kind of surprised that they're in Group A, especially after the way they've been playing
They were in the
qualifying and
they were in the
stuff.
final. They lost the final to Portugal in the last Nations League.
Yeah, I know, but I'm
That's
saying,
what
like, I'm
that's what they
surprised
go
that they
by.
started off in Group A, I
And
should
yeah,
say.
I think they were one of the last teams included, but they had just a high enough ranking, I guess. And,
Yeah, very, very interesting. But
but
in
they're
Group B,
rebuilding. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off,
no,
man.
go ahead.
We're still working through the kinks here, guys. Uh, but Group B was really, really interesting. We had a good hit in Group B. We had the Northern Ireland Romania draw. That thing looked dead. Northern Ireland has a red card in the first half. Romania was already up 1-0. I turned it off and I said, "Okay, this is over." That was a lot of fun. But yeah, that one ends up going 1-1. Very, very good result for us. I do kind of want to touch on the Austria-Norway game. I don't know about you, but Austria is one of those teams that everybody just seems to like. They're kind of like a dark horse in every
Mm-hmm.
tournament, and especially bookies too. Bookies love Austria. I don't know
Interesting.
what it is. They end up winning 2-1. It was
Mm-hmm.
a fairly good performance. Norway obviously has Holland, the young superstar, the goal scorer from Dortmund, but I mean, Austria. Everybody loves Austria. I don't. How do you feel about Austria? I'm not a huge fan of theirs.
Uh, Listen, I'd be lying if I said I knew much about them, but I'm like you. I'll have to wait and see. They were tough in the last Euro. They didn't make the World Cup in 2018, but at Euro 2016, they were tough. They, if I'm not mistaken, got 2 points out of 3 matches, but they were tough to beat. And they got one of their top players is from Bayern Munich. His name's escaping me right now.
David Alaba.
Thank you.
They have Alaba. I believe they have Arnautovic too.
Mm-hmm.
Marcel Sabitzer. I mean, they do have
Sabitzer, right?
They have a little bit of talent on the field, but I mean, literally, I mean, this is one of those teams that is consistently overpriced and one of those teams that I just love to fade because they always seem to disappoint. And especially with the David Alaba, like people see his name and they're like, yeah, they got David Alaba. Like,
That's it. We got this.
He's a left back. Like, I'm sorry, dude. And then they play him as a forward at times. It's like, dude.
Well, yeah, sometimes that's the reality in national teams,
Who does he think he is? Alphonso Davies?
Well, Alphonso Davies isn't playing left back for Canada either.
That's what I mean. He's like
Yeah.
the exact same player, and it just fascinates me. They're one of those teams that I look at every time, and I'm like, what do people see in this group? But yeah, there was no Group D play on Friday. Yeah,
No.
sorry, I had to look at the calendar.
That's all right.
Yeah, no Group D play. The Group C matches, they were kind of like the bottom of the barrel with the Group C matches with Kazakhstan, Lithuania, Albania, Belarus. Nothing really of note there.
Mm-hmm. You got a League B matchup here. Scotland won, Israel won, and Slovakia won. Czech Republic 3.
I can't imagine that Scotland-Israel game went over well with the Scottish people.
I can't imagine either. In their minds, they're still one of the best teams in the world.
It's fascinating to me. They just continue. I don't know what it is, and like they always get me to believe too. And that's the thing that annoys me. Like I look at the team for some reason, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? Nobody's going to score on them. If they can nick a goal, they'll be good. And every time, it's like they live to disappoint this team.
And there's no fans in the stadiums right now, but when we get back to major tournaments with fans, I miss the Tartan Army. It's been a long time since they have represented at a tournament. Scotland's got to get it together here, and they got to get themselves back to a tournament.
Yeah, I completely agree. Them and Ireland, I love when both of those two teams are in it because they're both just their fan bases are insane.
Exactly.
So good for the game.
Let's go to Saturday. Right.
So you want to start off with Portugal so we can I have a bone to pick with you guys.
Oh, great.
I have a bone
sorry we only won 4-1, and that was the play you gave me. Thank you for the $150, by the way, that I collected as a result.
It was my pleasure. I was very happy for you guys. I love the lineup that you guys put. Obviously, it's better with Ronaldo out there.
Yeah.
Really good showing from you guys. You guys dominated, especially the first half, too. You guys did deserve going up. My main pet peeve, though, I had you guys to keep a clean sheet.
Okay, I'm glad you said that because that's my pet peeve, too. That ruined it for me to an extent. I hate when teams blow a clean sheet in the final minutes like that just because you're up 3-0.
Yeah. I had them to keep a clean sheet at 3-0, and I'm like, all right, cool. Croatia hasn't come down the field at all. We're looking pretty good right
Yeah.
now. Next thing you know, they nick a goal, and I'm like, are
A-
you kidding
And
me?
it's funny because I was watching France and Sweden at the same time. I had it off on another screen, and because we're in the same group here, and I know this is UEFA Nations League. For me, I I want to win again. Okay, I want to win this competition again. So we're up 3-0. France is up 1-0, and I see a BS call against against Sweden. All right, and I see Griezmann stepping up to take a penalty kick. I see Croatia score right at that moment. It's 3-1, and I said, crap, he's going to make it 2-0, and now we're virtually tied with France, and we're going to have to go into that game having to win because goal difference may be the decider in this group. Okay, and Griezmann shanks it. I cheered Griezmann shanking it as almost like I cheered a goal, and then seconds later we made it 4-1, and it was all better after that. But yeah, Victor Lindelof takes down Anthony Martial. It was pretty funny, or at least the referee thought he took him down. The two Manchester United teammates, and pointed to the spot, but Griezmann shanked the penalty kick. Martial was already off the pitch at that time, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, no, overall, Portugal, that's the best Portugal match I've seen in a long time, as far as from play. I to curb my excitement just a little bit, though, Croatia really let them do whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
And that's not a good approach against Portugal to just let them do that. They didn't put Portugal under any pressure, I don't think. Uh, I mean, we've got a 54-year-old center back in Pep, and they didn't even try to exploit that. I mean, and he looks great when he doesn't have to defend. It's great. The team stayed organized for about 80 minutes, and then they fell apart there in the last 10 minutes. But when you've got, here's the thing, you hear me all the time hating on possession or just kind of clarifying my belief on possession. But and I'm hard on teams that can't defend. But when you have Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes, okay, in your team, the other I struggle to think of a team that, other than probably France, that is going to actually take the ball and force you to defend for long stretches of time. All right.
Absolutely.
And so our defensive frailties, and they're there. Okay, a lot of people point to Rafael Guerrero at left back and his inability to defend, and the fact that at Dortmund he plays as a left midfielder. All right, but then you get a guy like João Cancelo yesterday, he's the second choice right back on most weekends for us, and he comes
For
in
us too.
and it looks like he solidified his place. I mean, that was a wonder strike with the left foot that really put me at ease, because this game was looking like one of those where you're going to hit the post, you're going to hit the goalie's head, you're going to hit everything but the goal. And I was picturing a game where we just kept wasting these chances, wasting them, and then Croatia's going to go down once and score off a long throw-in or something like that. And fortunately, no, Cancelo put one in, and then we got the second one in the second half, and things evened out after that. But yeah, that first goal from João Cancelo was huge. And we talked about this on the show. It was on last night when I had to pick a man of the match. I picked Diogo Jota yesterday. I thought he was awesome. João Felix was good as well, moving off the ball, creating space. He ends up getting his first international goal. But I thought Diogo Jota from Wolves was the best player on the pitch yesterday. And the worst player on the pitch was Sergio Oliveira. And that is because he is Sergio Oliveira. Who the hell does he think he is, stepping onto a field in a Portugal jersey with the number 7 on? That right there, send him back to Porto.
Yeah, that's yeah, that was tough, man. I was watching. I'm like, do I ask him about this? Do I let him go? And then I looked at the clock, and I had something to do after the game. I was like, if I get him going, he's gonna keep us going here for 45 minutes. So I'm gonna let that go.
So yeah, that's my worst player of the match yesterday is him. being in the match.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Diogo Jota. I think that
Yeah,
dude is a superstar. I think that he's the perfect kind of player to play with João Felix.
yeah, they
He
combined
is
really
really,
well.
really good at making the runs in behind. I think João Felix is a
Hmm.
phenomenal playmaker. Those two just complement each other so, so well. You throw in Ronaldo too, and
Yeah.
that team moving forward is
What
just
What's
fantastic.
exciting for me is you've got pieces around Ronaldo that can let Ronaldo just worry about scoring goals and staying up high. We don't need him to come back and get the ball and bring it up the pitch anymore, like we had to, circa 2012, where he had to outscore Zlatan in that in that playoff to get to the World Cup in 2014, where it was like 5 goals for Ronaldo, 3 for Zlatan in that game. It's like that was the way we had to play, was defend with 10 and hope he scored. Those days are behind us, and it looks like this is going to be a fun couple of years. And I can't wait for the Euros with this squad. And I'm not saying we're going to win it again. We're in a ridiculously tough group with France and
Mhm.
Germany. But I'm really excited to see them play against top teams.
I think you guys are the best team in Europe. Be honest with you guys. I think that you guys might be the best team in the world. There's just so much depth on that team, and you look at it, and you're just like, yeah. I'm not sure. Sorry. Rui Patricio. Never been a huge fan of Rui Patricio. Nice to see Anthony Lopez get a
It
start. I
was
felt
good
like,
for Anthony, yeah.
yeah, he played really, really well. I mean, you guys are just so deep, and you guys are so good. And
I
I think
agree.
that's something that we learned about yesterday was that you don't need Ronaldo.
No,
I mean,
no, he's
yeah,
just a piece. He helps, but
he's quite good. It's never a
mhm,
bad thing to have the guy on the
right.
field, but you guys really don't need him, man. You guys are stacked across the board. You guys have guys that are fit. You guys have the guys that can play make, guys that can score, guys that can defend. You have the central defenders. You guys
Hmm.
have attacking midfielders. I mean, there is not a weak spot in that lineup. And I think you guys are one of the few international teams that can really say that. I think that you guys are built to win the Euro. And quite frankly, it wouldn't surprise me at all if you guys go on to win the World Cup in 2022. Yeah,
22.
I
Then
had to think about it, man. This is
anybody can win it, and it all depends who plays the best for that month out of a 4-year period. But
mhm.
the talent for, yeah, I agree with you. Player for player, I'll put us up against anybody right now. But I got a lot of respect for France, and in October we're going to see that game. We're going to see those two teams play. I believe they're going to play both matches in that next window, and that'll be fun. I know they got something to resolve from that Euro 2016 final, but we'll
that
see.
was a
And Alejandro Moreno said this on ABC. We're a much better team than we were in 2016. That doesn't mean we're going to win, because it takes a lot of things to win a tournament. But, and I'm not getting ahead of myself by any means, but player for player, yeah, it's a much. There's players that were in that team that can't make this team anymore, and it's not because
mhm.
they've dropped, but it's because this group of players has just risen and passed them.
You mean like Eder?
Well, Eder's playing in Russia. He's
Uh,
he's Saint Eder in
no,
Portugal.
he's in China now, isn't
Is
he?
he in? I thought he was still at Locomotive, but you could be right.
No, because I think I bet against him the other day, and I think that he scored. And I was like, this guy again. Fun story about 2016 for the listeners. I took France as a future to
Hmm.
win the entire tournament. I took them at the start. It was one of my first relatively large wagers.
Hmm.
I was very excited. I was very happy. Coming into that final, I was presented with the opportunity to hedge
Hmm.
because Portugal was a plus 200 underdog. And I
Hmm.
said, no, France at home, all
Hmm.
that stuff. I saw Ronaldo go out. I was
You
basically
thought you
dancing.
had it. You were going to the bank.
I said it was over. I said, wow, I'm going to cash this huge ticket. I felt like a G.
Hmm.
Eder scored, and literally the blood drained from my body. And now that I know you, I'm very happy for you. But you know what? I didn't know you back then. And every Portuguese person I met, I looked at them like this. Son of a bitch. Like my father had a pizza back then, and we had a lot of Portuguese customers.
Uh-huh.
And for like a month after that Euro, I thought about charging them double to just kind of get my money back from that. But yeah, that was tough. That was a tough 2016, man.
Yeah. Let's run down the rest of the results from yesterday. Then we'll talk quickly on today and talk about what's coming up this week. All right.
Yep.
So we got Iceland 0, England 1, Denmark 0, Belgium 2. No surprises there. Any thoughts?
Not a whole lot. Iceland still can't believe that they're in League A. They've been on the decline. Great
Yeah.
story, but I think they're done. Um, just want to check out the rest of the group. It's obviously England, and then you have you
the
got
other match,
Belgium,
yeah,
Denmark.
and Denmark.
Denmark's a very very good team. They're on the rise as well, so I think that they're going to be moving down. No real surprises. Group C, it was Macedonia 2, Armenia 1. Are you kidding me with this match? 3 penalties in this match.
You were texting. You were blowing up my phone during this one.
3 penalties? I had the under 2.5. How in the world are there 3 penalties? You can't make that stuff up. I'm not going to get started. 3 penalties. I had the under 2.5. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. And not just that, but all 3 of them get converted. God forbid I need one human being to kick me a penalty. It's going into the 12th row. Oh, I was so annoyed. But yeah, then we had Azerbaijan losing to Luxembourg. That was a real surprise. But it kind of goes to what we were talking about. You know, Luxembourg now has something to play for. They're showing some belief. Good result for them. Then you have Montenegro
2-0.
2-0 over Cyprus. Really disappointing from Cyprus.
Yeah.
Really, really upsetting. Cyprus is like the baby brother to
Greece.
Greece.
Yeah, they're your little brother. No question.
Yeah, so I mean that was tough to watch. And then Georgia, Estonia, 1-0. But I mean that's a tough one to really care about.
And then the big one. Gibraltar 1, San Marino 0.
Oh,
I don't know if any other podcast on planet Earth is talking about Gibraltar 1, San Marino 0.
I would love to.
What did you think of this one?
I would love to get in touch with ESPN just to know, like, what were their numbers for that game?
Did they show it?
Yeah. All the games are on ESPN Plus.
That's true. That's true. They have exclusive rights. The match was Graham Torilla.
He's an up-and-comer. What a superstar. Graham Torilla. Jesus Christ. Oh, man. We've got way off topic here.
Let's look at the table in that.
What? Is Gibraltar about to move up?
Okay, so there's 3 teams in Group 2. Gibraltar's top of the table.
Oh, my God. They all suck.
The mighty Liechtenstein is in there, too. So we'll see what they can do against Gibraltar. But, again, one of these teams is going to a 4-team playoff.
Oh, my God.
For a spot in the World Cup.
All right, I might officially be off the UEFA Nations League. This is Gibraltar, Liechtenstein, San Marino. Guys, what? All right, yeah, that's a tough one to defend, man. That is really hard. That is the worst group I've ever seen in my life. We could literally field better teams with a picket sign outside the YMCA saying, "You want to play soccer for a national team?" We could probably field 33 better players. But yeah, I mean, good for Gibraltar. 1-0. You guys should be very happy for yourselves. But let's go ahead. Let's move on to today.
Let's go to today. Spain 4, Ukraine 0. This one surprises me a bit. I'm gonna think it surprises you also.
I was all over the under 3 in this game. I was expecting, Spain's tiki-taka to not be able to score. Ukraine, again, we went over it, very stable defensively.
I thought this was a game where Spain could possess for the entire game. You could have a game where the Ukraine does not touch the ball other than to kick off, and it finished 0-0, but it didn't happen.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking maybe 1-0, maybe 2-0, like a late stupid goal. Especially with the lineup that Spain put out there. I mean, you have Rodri and Thiago in the middle of the field. I wasn't expecting many goals, but again, this was just another example of Piatov, dude. Call it a day, bro. Go play with the grandkids.
And then you got Switzerland 1, Germany 1. It's disappointing result for Germany after, nearly getting 3 points against Spain. They were seconds away from it in the first game, and now they're looking at having only 2 points after 2 matches.
Yeah, I mean, this German team, it kind of feels like what's his name, Joachim Low. He's just not – he doesn't know what to do at this point. And it's not that he's not a great manager. He just doesn't have the great players that he used to have. There is no – I mean, you look at this lineup, and you have Matthias Ginter, an out-of-shape Nicolas Sula, Rudiger on the
We talked about that during the Champions League, about Nicolas Sula.
Yeah, and then you have guys like Goossens. I watch a fair amount of soccer. I never heard of that dude. Then you got older guys like Toni Kroos and Gundogan. I mean, neither of those guys are what they used to be. They're starting in the middle of the field. Then you have Ketterer as a right back, and again, he's more of a center back.
He's more of a center back, yeah.
I mean, you look at the 2 attackers up top. I mean, you got my boy Leroy Sané, huge fan of Sané, love him. Timo Werner, he's world class. And then you have Julian Draxler as the attacking midfielder. I mean, I'm not a huge Draxler guy. This just is not the same German team that we remember. At this point, it's kind of starting to feel like Germans are just a name. And then if you look at the guys that came in the game, Julian Brandt, pretty good, not Germany worthy. Emery Chan, never been a huge fan of his, perfectly fine defender, not German worthy. And then you have Jonathan Tah, who's just a young kid trying to find his way right now. So, I mean, just not the same Germany team that we'd remember. Really disappointing performance from them. Switzerland kind of did what Switzerland does. They kind of set up in a 5-5-1 scenario with Seferovic playing by himself up top. They
4-5-1
right
or 5-4-1, I should say.
Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, just
Did I ever tell you, now that you say 5-5-1, ever tell you about the time I threw a 12th player on the field as a coach?
No.
Referee never caught it. Oh, yeah.
We're about to lose a lot of credibility here, guys.
Final seconds.
The ref never caught it?
Well, the kid never pulled the guy he was supposed to off the field, all right? And someone says, Coach, we got 12 guys. I said, shh, we're defending a corner to hold a result.
That's the worst.
I'll take the yellow card when they realize it, but I said, shh.
Yeah.
No one even counted. We dealt with the corner. It got cleared.
God,
the referee blew his whistle full time. Nobody bothered to count the number of players on the field. It was a thing of beauty.
Dude, I can imagine as a coach, too, it's really hard, like, not to appreciate the kid's honesty and be like, yeah, dude, your parents raised you right. On the other hand, it's like, shut up, you idiot.
Oh, yeah, I channeled my inner Jose Mourinho because he's the only one I could picture trying that.
Shut up, stupid. You're failing math now. You learned how to count, dummy. Oh, man.
I digress. We're in League B. Hungary 2, Russia 3. Russia's got 6 points now, like you said. Serbia 0, Turkey 0. What do you think about League B, Group 3?
Yeah, we were on Wales today. Thank you, Wales. 94th minute goal, Nico Williams, great goal. Wales annoys me to no end because they should be so much better than they are. Still without a striker. I don't understand why they don't play Gary Bale as a striker, but that's neither here nor there. Good win for them. Russia really did their best to choke away a 3-0 lead, but they end up getting the job done. Ireland, another team that we've talked about, just can't find their way anymore. Good job by Finland, who continues to get better. They're one of those teams that just continues to progress that nobody talks about. And then Serbia, Turkey, I thought both teams were really disappointing. Not a whole lot to say about that matchup. 0-0, not a whole lot of chances. I watched a decent portion of it after the game, but not a huge fan of that. Then in Group C, our group, Slovenia beats Moldova. Slovenia did not play well in the slightest. It helped me grow a little bit of confidence that we might actually win this group. Greece, A+ performance today. Not A+. That was a solid A performance.
It's 3 points.
Forget about the 3 points for a minute. It was good to see the boys. They followed it up. It was a whole new lineup. I was a little bit worried. Seeing Fortunis in the lineup just because he's so damn lazy. But you know what? He actually played pretty well today. He worked hard. I'm very worried about Stefan who definitely dislocated his shoulder. It was an ugly injury. But again, I love the fact that we're incorporating the young kids. We still have some veterans. We seem to be developing a style. It's going against what we've done for the last 20 years. But you know what? I really do think that this Van de Schip dude, he knows what he's doing. He understands the importance of this team, the importance of growing together and getting the young kids in there and sticking to a philosophy even when they fail. Great job by Siovas coming on for Stefalidis. He scored a very, very nice goal. He took it down easily and he buried it. Good job there. Liminos, this kid just continues to play well. He continues to grow. Great stuff there. Koulouris is a very, very interesting dude because he has a lot of talent. He just can't put it together, and he kind of sort of has that the Fortunis in him where he's just kind of sort of lazy, but he's starting to grow out of it. You can see that the coach is trying to coach it out of him. But again, key factor for us today, Zeka and Kurbelis in the middle of the pitch dominate the game. Great job by them. We dominated the possession. Kosovo ended up scoring a late goal because Barkas just falls asleep. He trips over his own guy. Tough goal to give up, but we were up 2-0 at the time. And quite frankly, we did a great job defending at the end. Excellent. Very happy with this kind of performance. I really think that we are the favorites to get through in this group, especially the way that Slovenia looked against us and again today.
And that was in Slovenia, was it not?
Yeah. I mean, they really didn't deserve that 1-0 win. It really should have
Mhm.
gone 0-0. But and then in Group D, Faroe Islands beating Andorra, and then Malta, Latvia going 1-1. Again, happy for the Faroe Islands.
6
Yeah, they
points
make
for
my
Faroe
skin crawl.
Islands.
Yeah, 6 points. Latvia in second place with 2. It looks like they're going to be promoted. Very happy for them. Honestly, they've been
Mhm.
growing as a group. Good stuff from them. But we got a long week coming up, man. And
Yeah,
we
we got a whole nother slate of matches coming up in the next 2 days or
I,
so.
I love how we aim to keep this at 30 minutes. We're already at 40, Capitano. No
Yeah,
problem, buddy.
this is probably a conversation for off the air, but we might have to spin this off into its own podcast.
Yeah, you know what? You guys should. You know, we're gonna put up a poll,
A
poll on the
poll on
PTB
Twitter.
Media.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all you that want us to make our own podcast every week, you guys just let us know, all right? But yeah, let's go ahead. Let's take a look here. We're looking at the
Yeah, what do we
UEFA
got
Nations
tomorrow?
League tomorrow. We have one early start. It is in Group C. It is the Kazakhstan Belarus matchup. Nobody cares about. Then in the other one in Group C, all the other games are at 2:45. You got Albania, Lithuania. Nobody cares. And then you got Northern Ireland, Norway. That should be a really interesting matchup because you're going to have Northern Ireland that's very, very good defensively. They're going to be slightly exhausted after having to play with 10 guys
Mhm.
against I forgot who it was. Oh wow. Oh, against Romania. Sorry.
Romania.
Yeah, and then you got Holland for Norway.
Yeah.
Is he going to be able to take advantage of it? I'm very interested to see that matchup.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be tuning in for that one. Then you have Austria, Romania. Not a huge fan of either team. Romania's kind of past their glory days. Austria, we already
A little
went
bit of
over.
interest see what Austria does here since we're hearing so much about them.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to pull up the odds here. And again, Austria minus 143. I don't understand this line. I don't understand this infatuation with Austria. What is it about this team? What am I missing? Am I slow? I don't know. I have to be missing something for the last 3 years where Austria just continues to be favored with the bookies. But I mean, it wouldn't shock me if they end up winning this game just because Romania is not that great. But still, I mean, you want to talk about a value play? Yeah, I mean, Romania maybe. It wouldn't overly surprise me if they could
Mhm.
pull a shocker. But then you got Czech Republic, Scotland. Should be a very, very interesting matchup. I'm looking at Scotland. Again, they're going to be very, very solid defensively. You know what you're going to get from them. Czech Republic, another team past the glory days. You got any feelings on this one?
I mean, again, I want to see Scotland come back into the international fold. So I'll keep an eye on the score, but no, I mean, I wouldn't be putting anything down on Czech Republic, Scotland.
Yeah, and then the other game in Group B is going to be Slovakia, Israel. Actually, not minding a whole lot of value here on Slovakia.
Hmm.
Slovakia is sitting at plus 279 on the money line. That definitely might be worth a little bit of a dabble there
Hmm.
because I'm not huge on Israel, but to be fair, I don't know a whole lot
I
about
don't
the
know much about
Israeli
them
team.
either.
Slovakia definitely has some talent and stuff. So, I mean, definitely one worth a look. Maybe even the draw plus 234. Actually, you know what? Take Slovakia half a goal. You're going to get it minus 120. It's not a bad play at all. I'll
Mm.
probably put that on the list for tomorrow. And then Group A, the headliners, you got Bosnia Herzegovina against
In
Poland.
Poland.
I'm looking at that one, and honestly, I kind of sort of like Poland at a pick just because there's not a whole lot.
What are they
Bosnia
giving
is on the
Poland in this
downslide.
one?
Poland is plus 174 on the money line, but they're even money on the pick. So I'm looking at that one. That might be worth a dabble. The last one is going to be in Group A. It's Netherlands and Italy.
Mhm.
Obviously, that's going to be a huge matchup. Italy, we've kind of gone over at length. They're sitting at plus 222. How do you feel about this matchup?
This is the kind of matchup I think Italy is better suited for because they're going to face a team that's going to want to have the ball and go at them and allow them the opportunities probably to get a counterattack or two because that's what they want to do. And I feel this could be real interesting. I mean, I wouldn't be throwing money on this one. It can go one of many ways. I'm not sold on the Netherlands yet, like you said. They're still coming up. They're coming back from they were very good and then had a really bad fall through the ranks, and now they're working their way back up into the elite places of international football. But I don't trust them to take care of business against an Italian team that can be very very opportunistic.
Right, I completely agree. This is one of those that's a toss-up. I don't think I would necessarily put anything on it. I don't
Mhm.
think it's going to be on tomorrow's slate. If you put a gun to my head, I'm probably leaning toward the Netherlands in that
Mhm.
one because you're going to get it at plus 135.
Okay.
Decent value there, but I mean, yeah, that one's going to be a hard skip for me. Tuesday, we have a pretty interesting lineup. We have a Group D matchup between the two heavyweights, San Marino and Liechtenstein. I mean, I'm fired
First
up for
place is
that
on
one.
the line for Liechtenstein.
Sign me up, coach.
They got to
There's
keep pace with Gibraltar.
solid 15 people watching. That ought to be great. That one's got nothing for me. Luxembourg, Montenegro. That's a decent one in Group C. It'll be an important one to see if Luxembourg can really follow up that good result. Montenegro, halfway decent team. Montenegro is favored to win that matchup. Then in Group C, we have Cyprus, Azerbaijan. This is one that I'm looking at and I say, very interesting. Cyprus, they do have some talent on this team. Can they get it together after that embarrassing performance last time out?
And Azerbaijan is one of those teams that I know you've mentioned them before to me.
So I look at Azerbaijan. They're one of those teams that kind of sort of play up to their opponents.
Yeah.
They finished their last, I believe it was the Euro qualifying, where they had just 1 point. It was very, very disappointing out of them. So, I mean, that wasn't overly great. But they're one of those teams that if they play Germany, yeah, I'm taking them to cover because they usually do play pretty well. But in a game like this one, I kind of sort of lean for Cyprus. It is a huge game for Cyprus.
Mm-hmm.
In Kipro, they have been going over just the fact that they want to continue to grow, that they want to be a better national team, that they want to progress in this tournament. They are taking it very, very seriously. And this is a group where, yeah, if they could pull out a win on on Tuesday, yeah, they're going to have a chance because Montenegro, Luxembourg, neither team's very, very good. I think Cyprus will be the favorite if they can get back on level terms for that top place. The other one is going to be in the League C is going to be Armenia, Estonia. I'm staying away from this one. Armenia currently minus 121 as a favorite. Not a huge fan. I didn't see any Mkhitaryan the other day. The fact that they give up two penalties in one game, that's a red flag for me. But good news is if they have to take another penalty, apparently they don't miss. God forbid. But that's perfectly fine. That's just me picking a bone there. So no real value in that one. And then the big ones, we got 4 Group A matchups. Obviously, we got Sweden, Portugal on Tuesday. That should be very, very interesting. Portugal currently listed minus 121 on the money line in that one. How do you feel about it? We going to see Ronaldo, by the way?
That's what I'm actually. If you guys saw me there on the video, I don't know if it flashed me or not. I was actually looking to get the latest on that. I don't see any news at all about whether or not he's going to play. I know that keeping him out in this last match was geared at the hope that he'd be able to play against Sweden.
Right.
But
I did hear that. I heard something yesterday on the broadcast that he may not be available.
he may
So,
not. But they were hopeful when they shut him down on Thursday that he'd recover in time to give an effort against Sweden. This is a tough matchup for us. It's not going to be like Croatia in that I don't think Sweden's going to let us just do whatever we want with the ball. I think Sweden's going to get physical. They've got their own good players too, and they can work. They've got good size. They're usually well organized, motivated. We're going to have to get on the board early. I think if we're chasing a result, we're going to get in trouble in this one. And we got to keep pace with France, if you ask me, because France is going to be hosting Croatia at the same exact time. And again, they know that depending where they prioritize this tournament, but they know they got 2 goals they got to make up to make up a goal difference. And
France currently listed as minus 190 to get the
mhm,
win. They are minus 110 and minus 1 goal. So, yeah, so the bookmakers definitely favor France, and I don't really blame them, especially after the way
mhm.
Croatia played against you guys. And again, that was more about you guys than I feel it was about Croatia,
Okay.
but Croatia didn't really do
I
anything
can't
for me.
watch that game yesterday and then come out here and get pessimistic about going to Sweden. I just said that I didn't, that I don't see many teams in the world that are gonna get the ball from us for long stretches of time. With that said, I think we're gonna get our opportunities. It's gonna come down to whether or not we can finish. We're not always the most efficient at finishing, and if Ronaldo's not there, and he's hungry to score, he's at 99 international goals. All
Yeah.
right. and I think the record is 109 for all time. He wants to get his 100th international goal, and then he wants to go for the all-time international goal record. He's sticking around, probably as much for that as for any team award. And I think it's a time where, like I said, he's got finally a team around him where he doesn't have to do everything. So it's probably a really fun time for him to be playing in a national team with all these guys half his age that grew up idolizing him. And obviously he's the most respected guy in the locker room, but he runs every locker room he's in. And we talked about it last week. I'm not gonna digress off of that, but he's a guy that owns the locker room, and I think he's a perfect leader for these young players. And I think if he plays, it's a boost. But I think the team's going to be confident without him. Again, I could see the same 11 roll out. Santos doesn't normally roll out the same 11 back-to-back in Nations League, per se. So we may see a couple changes. He may give an opportunity to somebody else tomorrow. And I could see a João Moutinho coming off and a different midfielder being slotted in. We'll see what the manager decides to do with that. Not everybody's fully healthy, but you could see from the previous match, they were much fitter than Croatia, but I think fitness might be a little bit more even when they see Sweden.
Yeah. Very, very interesting two matchups there, but I did want to touch on the other matchups in Group 1. Belgium, Iceland, I don't see that game being competitive. Do you?
No. I think Belgium is far better than Iceland, and they're well composed, and
especially with Lukaku playing the way that he is and the way that the goal scoring form that he's been in.
So much quality in that Belgian team.
Yeah. I mean, especially my boy De Bruyne running the show. Hazard. We don't need to get into it. That game should be a massacre. It's still the greatest name in all of sports, man. Yeah. Axel Witsel. I wish more people in America watch sports just to get into that name, dude. Yeah. What a name. And especially with the afro too, like
he does it all. He does it all.
Love that guy. But the other one I wanted to touch on is Denmark, England. I think that this matchup is absolutely fascinating. I'm really looking forward to see what the lineups look like here. Who's going to play, who's not going to play. I'm looking at Denmark here, and I'm wondering, are they worth a play at plus 271? That's a really juicy line, especially against an England team that we're not really sure how serious that they're going to take this. They didn't play very well against Iceland, despite the fact that they won 1-0. I'm looking at this one. I'm just pulling up the lineup to see who they rolled out as well. Now, Jadon Sancho was in the lineup there. Jordy Pickford, I think he's the most underrated goalie in the world. I love Jordan Pickford. But yeah, the very defensive lineup for England in the last game. 5 defenders, 5 pure defenders there. Not a whole lot moving forward. You saw Phil Foden. You saw Jadon Sancho. Obviously, Harry Kane and Sterling up top could make things difficult, but Denmark's a very, very stable defensive team, and they do have some quality moving forward. So if they're going to get a chance, then, they could possibly open things up for Poulsen in the air.
Yeah, I was going to say Poulsen.
I love Kasper Dolberg. I think that he has serious potential to be a world-class striker. Don't forget about Christian Eriksen, who was coming off the bench for Inter Milan. He's still a really, really good playmaker. And then Braithwaite, who's somehow on Barcelona, which
that's right. He sure is.
But he's another guy. He's perfectly capable of scoring a goal for Denmark. Very, very interesting team. I'm looking at Denmark here, and I love them at plus 1.5. Plus half a goal. I think that they will be able to get a result in this one. But taking them at plus 271 to actually win the game, especially where it's in Denmark and then they're familiar with the settings and things like that. I'm looking at that one, and I'm saying, I can 100% see Denmark pulling the upset.
Sounds like some really good value on Denmark here. And we saw England struggle with Iceland, and it took a late goal to get that result. And
yeah, you know what? I really think that defensive lineup just, it's just not a good look for England. I don't think that it fits the players that England necessarily have, because you don't have those transition players, kind of like how Bayern has Thiago in the middle of the pitch, but Thiago can also become an attacking forward, or like Goretzka, very similar player. They really don't have that transition player. You know what I mean? They have Declan Rice toward the middle of the field. Who was the other guy? I just had it up. They had one more dude. Hold on one second. let's see here. So it's going to be Declan Rice and then James Ward-Prowse. Not a huge fan of him moving forward. I'd be interested to see if Jack Grealish can get on the field. That would be a very, very interesting one. But again, I'm wondering what this lineup is going to look like, especially on such short notice, especially seeing that they played with 10 guys for a little while. Going to be a very, very interesting thing. Also, something that we haven't touched on was the fact that it took Iceland missing a penalty in the 93rd minute for them to even get the win.
Right.
So I'm looking at this one. I just really think that Denmark is one of my favorite plays this week.
That's
You'll
a nice
definitely
play.
see them on the board.
That is a nice play. And with that, I'm going to ask you, if somebody's got $100 and they're asking you to make one pick this week, what are you picking in the football world this week?
Only $100, huh?
Whatever you name the number.
Give me a number 1 to 10. We used to play this game in the office, guys.
Play this game in the office. So
That's
number
very
Leo would
dangerous.
say, give me a number from 1 to 10, and you'd say 6. He's like, $6,000 it is on Russian table tennis.
Oh my God! No, Russian table tennis was a Corona-only thing. I have not watched a single thing of table tennis since the sports have been back. Oh man, Vladimir Namashkalo, I love you, buddy. I see you over there, man. You did your thing for a couple months for me.
I'll never forget the day you asked me, hey, should I take Igor or Sergey? And I said, what? He goes, just pick a name, Igor or Sergey.
Yeah. Hey man, so there was times, man, where it was tough to be a DJ, man. I was taking calls. I was watching Russian table tennis. There's nowhere to even watch Russian table tennis. So you're sitting there just watching scores flashing. And you're like, yeah, no idea.
You got excited the day you had an Indian cricket test.
Oh my God. Yeah, dude, the cricket match. Oh, what a great match it was too. And it was on ESPN Plus. So I could sit there for 6 hours and watch it. Oh man, especially when the wickets hit the ground, dude, it's electric.
What's your play of the week this week, Leo?
All right. So play of this week, we actually excuse me. Play of the week, we did just touch on it. It is for me. It is definitely going to be Denmark. I'm looking for those of you that listen to the podcast, you guys may know, I like doing a little bit of a two-for at times where I'll throw 2 units on a plus a half a goal and then take a unit on the money line to kind of dabble to see if we can do it. That may be what we do here. I may scale it down to doing just 1 unit on the plus half a goal because it is minus 130. I don't want to necessarily get caught up in too much juice. So possibly go 1 unit on half a goal for Denmark and then put half a unit on the money line at plus 271. If they end up winning the game, we're looking good. If they end up just getting a result, that's still perfect for us. We still end up with plus half a unit. We're perfectly content with that.
All right, everyone. You heard it there from Leo himself. Go over to betonline.ag and click on that bet. Take Denmark on the money line plus half a unit on what'd you give the half a unit on?
No, man. You got to go half unit on the money line.
Half unit on the money line.
And then you're going to throw 1 unit, 1 full unit. You're going to throw it on the plus half a goal.
Plus half a goal.
Yep. So that is the official play for DJs United. Capitano, we got anything else to cover today?
No, we're good, man. This has been another great episode of the Sunday Night Sportsbook, and I think we answered the question. I don't even think it needs to go to a poll. I think we need to spend this into its own podcast.
We're gonna switch this up to the Sunday Night Soccer Sportsbook.
Soccer Sportsbook. Maybe we can have a poll about what we're gonna call it.
Yeah. Anybody, listeners, you guys want to get creative? Throw something out at us, all right?
All right. Thank you, Leo, for joining me again, and we're definitely going to be doing this a lot more. We're going to be here each and every Sunday night, of course, unless there's a lightning storm and one of us doesn't have power.
Or if one of us got to go to the puppy park, man, you never know, man. We're cutting it close sometimes.
What's great about podcasting is you can get Zoom on your cell phone, and we can still get this podcast going.
That would be definitely interesting, pal.
All right, guys. Everybody, thank you for watching on YouTube. Thank you to everybody listening on the PTB Media Network through the Parking the Bus podcast. And any final parting words, Leo?
No, just make sure that you follow us on Twitter, DJs_United. Be sure to check out the website too. Both of us are doing some renditions on the website. We're making it sexy.
Any day now.
Pretty. Any day now. We're just waiting. We're just waiting for the developer to get back to us.
That's
but
it.
no
That's
problem.
it.
No problem.
All right.
Yeah, guys. So on that note, have a great week. We'll see
All
you
right.
guys next
Thanks.
week.
Thanks, Leo. We will be right back with the Brazilian League. All right. We're going to have a quick rundown of what went down this week in the Brazilian Serie A here on the Parking the Bus podcast.